Hey guys, Michael, Dream Achiever, and we are alive at 5. We're still within the 5 o'clock hour, so I will still say we're alive at 5. A little bit behind today because I was spent a day at the aquarium with my family, which leads us to our topic today. 3 tips how to build a big business in 2022 without sacrificing your kids. Again, 3 tips for how to grow a big business in 2022 without sacrificing your kids. So, first of all, if you're watching this live, type in live. If you're on the replay, type in replay, and then let us know where you're calling in from. So that's awesome. We love to know where everyone's coming from. Here we go on our tips. We'll jump right in because I like to keep these brief. And this is a Friday for a lot of people. If you're watching it on a Friday, it's a Friday for you too. So number 1 tip on how to grow a big business without sacrificing your kids: put your kids' activities on your calendar first. So if you've ever seen the comparison, analogy, or the portrayal of big rocks first, right? It's a guy that has a jar, an empty jar, and he puts the big rocks in first, and then he says, is there anything else that can fit in here? And people are like, no, it's pretty full. And then he puts little pebbles in the jar, and he puts a bunch of little pebbles in the jar, and he says, well, can anything else fit in here? People say, no, it looks pretty full. And then he pours sand into the jar, and the jar looks pretty full. You got big rocks, pebbles, and sand in the jar. And the guy says, can you fit anything else in the jar? And people go, no, it's pretty full. And the guy goes, well, hold on a second. He takes a pitcher of water, and he pours a pitcher of water into that same jar. And the guy said, it's all about your perspective and what you think you can fit into the jar. And this is just like your calendar. You put your big priorities, your big responsibilities on your calendar first, and you work everything else in around that. And so if you have kids, time with your kids is something you can never buy back. So you want to make sure, as much as possible when you're building your business, you take those special moments. And a great example is, if your kids have sports practice, do you need to be at every single practice, or can your spouse be there? But you do need to be at the games. So you need to be at the big events. Or if you have dance or music for your kids, you don't need to be at every single practice, but you do need to be at the recitals. You do need to be at the plays. So those are definitely the big rocks, and you need to make sure you get those on your calendar first and talk to your kids about it. Let them know that your kid can plan on looking into the audience and know that you will be there for every big game, for every recital, for every play, that they know you will be there. You may not be at the practices because you're building a business, but the plan is to be at every one of those. So put those on your calendar. And number 2 tip is let your kids help you set the boundaries. If you do their activities with them, let them promise to you that they'll let you get your work done. And this is a big deal. So you say, okay, look, I have to do 1 hour of work today, if that's your goal, but your kids need help with their homework a little bit. Or your kids want to just spend 20 minutes walking around the block with you so they get some dad time in or some mom time in. So you say, okay, great, here's what we're going to do. We'll commit to that. I'll sit on the couch and watch 1 episode of your cartoon with you. We'll go 1 walk around the block with you. I'll help you do your homework for 20 minutes. We'll get 3 assignments done or whatever we can do in that 20 minutes. But then I have to go to work for 1 hour. Is that okay? Get the buy-in from your kids. And so you say, okay, I'll help you, and then you have to help me. I have to get this work done. I have to focus, and I need you to let me focus on that too. So let your kids help you with that. That's our second one, the compromise with the kids. Get the buy-in there. And the 3rd tip for growing a big business in 2022 without sacrificing your kids is keep in mind that it's not forever. This is what's called a short-term sacrifice for a long-term gain. I usually call this getting the buy-in or enrolling your family in the process. And what's the vision? You've got to sell them on the vision of what you're doing this for, why you're giving up this time that they could otherwise be spending with you 100%. Now they're splitting their time with you and your business project. But if they don't know what you're doing, why you're doing it, and what your goals are for your family, then it's going to be hard for them to grasp why you're taking this time out and not spending it with them. And it can create jealousy and some envy and things, and a little bit of resentment towards you and your business, right? So you really have to get the vision with your family, get the enrollment, and say, here's why I want to do this. For example, today, right, as I mentioned, I spent the day at the aquarium with my family, which was an amazing experience. We all just had an amazing time. It was incredible, and we loved it, and we planned for it. And my family knew, okay, Dad's got to work a little bit extra these first 3 days of the week here, and then today we're going to take the entire day and spend it with a family. Is that okay with everybody? Get their buy-in. This is why I have to do the extra work, because we need to get to the aquarium. And so everyone knew what the goal was. Everyone knew the vision. Dad's got to do his work. We'll get a little bit done, but the goal is the aquarium. And so with your business project, most of you probably have a side hustle or home-based business where your ultimate goal is to be a work-from-home parent, making a full-time income at a part-time hours, right? So what you can do with that is say, here's the goal. I got to put in a little bit of extra time right now on top of my already busy schedule and take time away from you so that in the future, in the not too distant future, we can take some trips. When, maybe you don't have the time to do that now. You say, here's where we want to go. Where do you want to go? Get the list going. Get the dream board. Get your family involved and your kids involved. Where do they want to go? When dad has time that he doesn't have to spend at work all the time, where are we going to go? Make it important to the kids. Get their enrollment in that. So number one, put your kids' activities on the calendar first. Number two, let your kids help you set the boundaries. Get their compromise. So time with them equals time for you to run your business by yourself, and they're not going to distract you on that unless it's a major thing, right? I always say if no one's bleeding, screaming, and we don't need to go to the hospital, then please let me focus on what I'm working on right now. The other of you that have kids, you know what I'm talking about. And number three, keep in mind that it's not forever. The last thing that you want is to look back on the growth of your business and hate your business because you missed out on the important moments with your children. And you don't want to do that. It's just not going to make it worth it that way. And one thing that I say to myself often, maybe you want to say it to yourself, and this is applicable to really any project that you're going to do that you're giving up family time. What I say is if I'm taking this time away from my family, like right now, I'm on this live video to offer value to you. If I'm taking this time away from my family, it better darn well be worth it. And what that means is, for me, I'm going to put 110% of the effort into what I'm doing because that time has to be well spent or well invested towards my future because I'm borrowing that time from my family today. Does that make sense? So I'll say that again. Whatever I'm going to do that's taking time away from my family, I better make it worth it with my effort as I invest into our future from borrowing from that time today. Okay, so if the goal for you is to create more time, freedom, and more leverage in the future so that you can be the only dad on those field trips, you can be the dad that's at everything, right? You want people asking you, like, how are you doing this? Because I invested that time before. And this is the payoff now, where you see me everywhere with my kids and my pictures. It seems like I don't really work anymore because I'm always with my family and my kids, and we're going on amazing trips and we're taking vacations, and I'm doing stuff in the middle of the day with my kids on their field trips and the school parties, and I'm that guy because I made that choice today and I had a plan on how to do that. I followed a system, and that guy Mike Wolf really helped me out, right? Whatever, you can say that, but realistically, you got to have some plans in place. And this is really helpful because you can't just sacrifice, or everyone is going to hate dad's plan. Everyone's going to resent the time you're taking away because they don't see the payoff. And especially in business, in any business, there's going to be a huge time demand up front before you see those financial rewards. In addition, a huge payoff for, getting that time leverage back, right? So you're investing more up front, dollars-wise and time-wise, than what you're getting in return. But down the road, you'll have more dollars and time back than what you're putting in. So as long as everyone can understand that vision of where you're going and why you're doing what you're doing, especially if you have smaller kids, it's really tough for them to grasp because they want to play now. They want dad to play catch now. They want to go on a bike ride now. They want to go swimming now. So helping them understand and a continuous reminder. You can't just say it once and expect your kids to remember. You've got to remind them probably on a daily basis, depending on their age, or a weekly basis at minimum. And this is why I say creating that vision board, creating that goal board is ultimately helpful as a visual reminder. Say, listen, this is the trip that you wanted, and this is what we're working towards, and we're almost there, and this is the progress we've made. And when you can get that enrollment or that buy-in from your family, from your kids, then they become your cheerleaders, and they want to see you win because you're winning for them. You're winning for us, right? You're winning for family. And this is my goal. Mike Wolf, Dream Achiever, is to empower and inspire others to be able to stand up for what's right in your life and start dreaming again. Be the hero your family deserves, right? And so this is why I do what I do. This is why I share it with you, because I want you to be empowered and inspired that you can dream again and you can be the hero that your family deserves. I want everyone to be the father that your kids, want, the husband that your spouse desires, and the hero that your family deserves. I want that for me. I want that for you. Thank you all so much for tuning in. If you have a tip, if you got value out of this, drop a comment for me. Share a little love. I really appreciate it. And thanks again for tuning in. Like I said, I'll keep these kind of short because we're going to try and do one every day. And hopefully you'll get some value out of at least one of these. Mike Wolf, Dream Achiever. I want to see you succeed. And hopefully I'm helping you on your journey as well. At least getting you inspired. So thank you so much, everyone. Ed Trujillo, I got your comment right there. Appreciate you tuning in. And Greg as well. Thank you all so much. Love seeing people on here live. Y'all have a great weekend. See you next time.